Yo, what up guys, I'm Sammy and welcome back to the Soul Brothers channel. This is my first impressions look on the Adidas Exhibit A basketball shoe. So this shoe is going for 110 bucks. And I think they're trying to replace their Pro Bounce or their Pro Boost Low kind of team shoe with this shoe actually. And the Exhibit A is using full length LIGHTSTRIKE. And if you guys do want to cop, I'll leave a link in the description box, but let's get it started off with the Tracciones. We have a diamond shaped outsole, and as far as the bite goes on my wood floors, it seems okay. I mean, it doesn't seem like it has the best bite ever, and also the outsole doesn't seem to squeak that much, which kind of sucks. I like to have a very squeaky outsole. I don't know, that's just my preference. Obviously that doesn't really affect performance. Hopefully, well, once I break it in and play in it a little bit more, it gets a little bit squeakier, but right now it's not super squeaky or anything like that. And then here in the forefoot, we can see that there is a flex groove to allow the forefoot to flex a little bit more. And then here in the midfoot, there is no midfoot shank plate, which we'll get into later, but I guess it is exposed and you guys can see the LIGHTSTRIKE from the bottom here as well. And as far as the durability goes, it seems pretty bad actually, right? So I guess the grooves are deep, but when I feel the actual rubber with my finger, the rubber moves pretty easily and it doesn't feel like it's going to be very durable. You know, I feel like if you're going to play on an outdoor court, this might actually rip off pretty easily because of how soft the rubber feels. So just watch out for that. But the traction overall right now doesn't seem like it's going to be the best. Alright, moving on to the heel to toe transition. So here in the heel, it seems pretty damn nice, right? So we have a fully exposed LIGHTSTRIKE midsole, and that compresses a good amount. As you guys know, LIGHTSTRIKE is very soft, and we have a very nice curved shape. So it kind of like transfers the energy when you're walking or doing heel dominant strides. So that feels pretty damn nice. But as you guys can see, look at how flat this is. It reminds me a lot of the Dawn issue 1. And it's probably going to be a little bit of a slapper, which kind of sucks. I don't really like how Adidas does this. I like to have a very curved shape, you know, like Under Armour, or actually like every single basketball shoe manufacturer makes a very curved shape here in the forefoot, but then Adidas makes it super flat. I mean, it's not terribly flat. I mean, there's a little bit of curve, but walking on, it still seems a little bit like a slapper. But I guess one good thing though is that it's very flexible here in the forefoot, so it doesn't feel like it's gonna be terrible for heel to toe transition. It's just in my personal preference, I would have liked a little bit more curve in the forefoot. Alright, moving on to the cushioning setup. So like I mentioned before, we have full length LIGHTSTRIKE, and LIGHTSTRIKE is a very nice foam. So LIGHTSTRIKE is a low density foam which contributes a lot less to the overall weight of the shoe. So Adidas using LIGHTSTRIKE foam, I am a big fan of. And here in the heel, there is a good amount of compression. It's soft. There's not as much compression as the Dame 6 and Dame 7. It feels like the Dame 6 and Dame 7 were like there's a lot of compression, right? This one feels a lot mellower, but also it feels a lot lower to the ground. Like this entire setup, you're just right on the ground. It reminds me of like the Harden Volume 3, you know, like how low that cushioning setup was. Also the Harden Volume 4. As far as the insole goes, as you guys all know, Adidas uses very thin, very crappy, like paper stock insoles. There's no foam to it, so it doesn't really improve the step and comfort at all. But if you look underneath at the actual strobe board, it looks like it's very stiff, right? And you're like, oh damn, it's the patented Adidas super stiff strobe board, woo, right? But when you actually feel it, there is a little bit of give. And here in the heel, you guys can see the white part, and I'm guessing that's just a LIGHTSTRIKE. And then once you go into the midfoot, you can see a plastic piece, and I'm guessing that's the midfoot shank plate, because if you feel it, it's very hard. And then once you get into the forefoot, it's also it's pretty soft there as well. So step and comfort, surprisingly, there's a little bit of compression from the LIGHTSTRIKE from an Adidas shoe, which is, I like that, you know what I mean? So step and comfort feels kind of comfortable. You feel low to the ground, and also the midsole is fully exposed, so it lets that LIGHTSTRIKE compress, especially here in the heel. So I'm liking the cushioning setup so far, and I feel like it's gonna be an overall very responsive, but also pretty damn nice cushioning setup. All right, moving on to the materials. So on the website, it says they're using a textile material. I guess it is textile in a way, but it's more of like a mesh material. You know, it reminds me of like a jersey type of material, but with like very large holes, right? So here in the toe box, it's extremely thin, and it feels very nice on foot. You know, it conforms to your foot very well. It feels supportive and all that. Here in the tip of the toe box, we have some fuse for extra added durability and support. And then coming here into the midfoot, the material stays extremely thin here too. And also here on the lateral side, we can see some more fused material. It's actually pretty damn stiff. I don't know what it is. Like it looks like fused, but like, do they put some plastic in there? Because like it actually feels pretty damn stiff. You know, it reminds me of the Harden Volume 5. Remember the fuse on the Harden Volume 5 is just extremely stiff. But the Exhibit A, the fuse material kind of feels like that, but a little bit softer, but still stiff, right? So we got that here on the lateral side of the shoe. We actually have like 3 of them right here. Like we have a large one here in the midfoot, and then coming here into the ankle, we have 2 smaller ones. And then here on the medial side, we got the 3 stripes logo. On the lateral side, we just have like an Adidas logo, like the regular Adidas logo. And then as far as the tongue goes, I actually like the tongue. The tongue has an average amount of padding, but it's made of like a neoprene material, which makes it a little stretchy. So it kind of like stretches over your foot. When I first saw it, I thought it was a half booty construction tongue, which I guess it kind of is, but not really, because the tongue kind of has straps that go into, or I guess like underneath the insole. So it kind of like keeps the tongue in place. And also we have an extra kind of like eyelet here in the middle of the tongue. So when you tighten the laces, it keeps the tongue in place as well. So I like that. Coming here into the ankle area, we have actually a very small amount of foam. I mean, to be honest, for 110 bucks, the quality of the materials is pretty damn nice. I like this mesh material. I like this like neoprene tongue and this textile material where the eyelets are. So no complaints from me for the materials. Also here in the heel, we have an external TPU heel counter. So starting from the medial side, it starts off from the heel and wraps all the way around, right? And looking at the medial side, it kind of looks like a stormtrooper a little bit, doesn't it? But anyways, as it wraps around, it kind of cages the LIGHTSTRIKE cushion here on the lateral side of the shoe, so it doesn't compress too much and feel like laterally unstable. All right, moving on to the fit. So I went true to size, and it runs kind of long, right? So there is a good amount of space. So I feel like if I went down half a size, it would be a perfect fit for me. Maybe a little snug, but I still feel like there is a little bit of space there, which I don't really like all too much. So for you guys, I would suggest going down half a size, or I guess like go true to your Adidas size, because Adidas shoes usually run long, right? So basically whatever your Nike size is, go down half a size, right? If you want a really snug fit. If you don't want a snug fit, then true to size, you should be fine. Here in the toe box, it is a little roomy and I can curl my toes up. So I don't really like that either. For me, my personal preference for the fit here in the toe box is to have it really snug, kind of like the KD13 or even the KD14, like the Kyrie 7 and stuff like that, right? So this is a lot roomier actually. It's not to the point where I hate it and it's just really sloppy, but I just wish it was a little bit more snug, right? But of course, there are people that like to have a roomy toe box. So if you like that, then the Exhibit A is going to be a good fit for you. And as far as the width goes, I would say it's a normal width, maybe even a touch wide. Also, this shoe sadly does not have a heel tab, so it's not the easiest to put on. And also, I don't know if you guys can see, but you guys see this? Like the 2 kind of like sharp edges? It reminds me of the Jordan 35. And these kind of like sharp points dig into my Achilles a little bit. And here on the right pair, it was bothering my Achilles when I was walking around. So that sucks. But of course, I don't know why. I guess my Achilles, I have been having some problems with it. You know, I strained it a few times and stuff like that. So maybe that's the problem. But hopefully, you know, it's just a problem for me. It doesn't seem terrible like the Jordan 35 was, but it is annoying my Achilles just a tiny bit. So just watch out for that. All right, moving on to the support and lockdown, I feel like it's going to be very good. So for lateral containment, here in the forefoot, we got this fused material, right? The foam doesn't really come up all too much, but this fused material is really supportive, it feels like. So for forefoot containment, I feel like it's going to be pretty damn good. And here in the heel, of course, we have this external TPU heel counter, as well as the foam coming up. So I feel like lateral containment is going to be very good. Also for lateral stability, Adidas usually makes super wide shoes. So lateral stability is probably going to be good in the shoe as well. All right, moving on to the weight. This shoe is surprisingly like super light. It feels very light. I'm guessing like 11 ounces even, 12? Yeah, 12.1 ounces. Let's check the left pair, 12.06 ounces, right? So it's a little bit lighter than average. The average weight of my shoes is around 12.5 ounces. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. You know, Boost is heavy, LIGHTSTRIKE is light. So when Adidas uses Boost in a shoe, it's usually heavy, like around like 13.5 ounces, maybe even more. And when LIGHTSTRIKE is used, it's usually around the 12-ounce range. So I like how the shoe feels as far as the overall weight goes on my foot. It feels lightweight. Hopefully it's responsive though, because you know the traction doesn't feel like top tier right now. All right, as far as the aesthetics go, not a huge fan, I would say. You know, I don't really like the Adidas logo here. That looks kind of cheesy to me, but I don't know. I guess I like this colorway, the triple white, but I guess you can't really go wrong with triple white, right? So tell us what you guys think of the aesthetics down in the comment section below. So wrapping things up, I feel like it's gonna be okay. Right now, I'm actually pretty surprised at the cushioning setup. I like the cushioning setup. The materials feel pretty nice. Support seems pretty nice as well. But two things for me is the fit kind of sucks, and of course, I can't really fix that, I guess, unless I double sock or put another insole in, which I don't really like doing all too much. And also the traction hopefully gets better, you know, but of course that's just from a first impression standpoint. Like I just tried it on my wood floors. It can get better. But anyways, for 110 bucks, it feels pretty damn nice, you know? So again, if you guys do want to cop, I'll leave a link in the description box. Stay tuned for the full performance review. But that's it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.